Hey everyone, welcome back to Whiskey Blooded. My name is Dave. I took a couple weeks off, I was sick, and then I went on vacation, and back this week with a brand new review. For those of you that are just tuning into the channel, or even for those of you that have been watching my past reviews, just a quick recap of the channel. This is Whiskey Blooded. We do weekly bourbon and whiskey reviews, and scotch reviews, and all kinds of different reviews, but anything whiskey related. And basically the format I go through is a pretty quick one. Try to keep videos around 5 minutes long, give you what you're looking for as far as the nosing and the tasting and the overall thoughts on a bourbon, whiskey, or scotch, and then my final rating. So with that, let's crack right into a brand new bottle of whiskey from Woodford Reserve. So this is Woodford Reserve's third permanent extension of the Woodford Reserve line. So what that means is they have two bottles which we all know and love already, the classic Woodford Reserve, the double oaked, which are both bourbons, and now they have their third permanent extension, the Rye Whiskey. So when I say permanent, every year they come out with a bottle which is called a Master's Collection, and the distiller comes out with a new kind of experimental bourbon that he's just having fun with, and those aren't permanent, but this is. So this is the third permanent extension, which is why it's in the familiar Woodford Reserve bottle. So this is Rye Whiskey. Rye whiskey is not bourbon. It's made from 51% rye in the mash bill, at least 51% rye in the mash bill, compared to bourbon, which is 51% corn. So this is a straight rye whiskey, which is made in Kentucky, made the same place that Woodford is made. It's brand new, and they just started getting to that level where it's matured enough, where they can put it out, where the distiller likes where it's at, and that's what's being done right now. So this is brand new. So let's give it a look, let's give it a taste and a smell, and I'll tell you what I think about it. I have tried this, this is my first bottle, so I have tried this earlier in the week, and we'll go through now what I think of it. I'm also partly doing this video for a friend of mine who is an absolute Woodford Reserve fanatic, and he hasn't tried this yet, so I figure this is a good week to do this review and tell you and him what I think about this new bottle. So when we talk about rye, rye is going to have more fruit and more flavor and spice than a bourbon or than a corn mash bill. That rye really brings out additional flavors in bourbon. Think about eating rye bread as compared to white bread. Rye is going to have a lot more flavor in it. So that's what I'm expecting here. As far as the nose, I mean, you definitely get a lot more flavor in the nose. It hits you and it almost stings in the nose a little bit. Not saying it's going to be stronger, but so when I smell it, I'm getting a lot more spice. I'm getting a lot more burnt sugar, cinnamon. I'm getting more fruit, and I'm getting more tobacco or spearmint is what I'm getting. And as far as tasting it, let's give it a shot here. Cheers. That all comes right through. Pretty well balanced too for a rye. When I'm tasting it, up front I'm getting, once again, that kind of burnt sugar, the fruit notes, a pear, an apple, a little bit of nutty note like almond, and then it's followed up by a little spearmint and a tobacco burn in the back. So it's very good. It's got a good rye balance. So when I think about other ryes that I've tried recently, and actually coming up here too, I'm going to do a Friday Rye Day, which is that's the cheesiest name ever, but I'm going to do a couple different rye reviews in one so that we can compare what rye is like to what bourbon is like. But I think it's got some great balance. I am not normally the biggest Woodford Reserve fan. I think there's a lot better bourbons than Woodford. I just think it's well balanced. But this rye I actually really do like. I like it a lot better than other ryes I've been trying because most ryes either go too much fruit or too much spice. This has fantastic balance, especially for something that is only going to run you about $50. So I think it's got fantastic balance. This is something that I can sip on, but I can also put in a drink. This would be fantastic in a Manhattan. This would be fantastic in an old fashioned. This would be fantastic in anything that you're going to mix a good rye bourbon with, or a good rye whiskey with, which is going to be a lot of the drinks that are out there. Rye adds great flavor to a mixed drink. So one final thought here on the flavor. Yep, once again, a lot of fruit followed by spice, tobacco, little burn sugar. So overall, I think, and I used a green marker today to rate this one to match the bottle, I think it's 88 out of 100. The only thing it takes away from my rating is that I actually prefer bourbon more than rye if I'm sipping it. Now this, it gives some to my rating because I would put this in any cocktail that I'd be making. I think this would go great, and because it's better than most of the other ryes that I've been tasting, which is surprising, as I mentioned, because I am not the biggest Woodford Reserve fan. Like I said, I like them, and I think that they're making very well balanced stuff. I just like a little bit meatier bourbon, but this rye, it hits all the things that I like. It hits the good balance, good spice, good fruit, but not overpowering in anything. They really hit this one on the nose with what they've been doing over there at Woodford. So I hope that you enjoyed the review. I hope that when you go out there and buy a bottle of Woodford Rye that you think the same kind of thoughts that I think, and that I don't waste your money on an expensive bottle like this. But I would recommend picking it up. I would recommend trying it and bringing it out to a tasting event or just putting on your shelf. I think it's a great product. So if you guys have any questions or comments, post them in the comment section below. We'll be back next week with a new whiskey or bourbon review. And I hope that you guys tune into the channel from now on. Thanks again. Have a great day.